We hear about the incredible power of artificial intelligence pretty much every single day. It's changing everything, right? Creating new possibilities, completely reshaping our world. But behind all that promise, there's a hidden cost, a side of the story that we really, really need to talk about. All right, let's get into it.
And let's be super clear, the hype is absolutely real. Stanford's Human-Centered AI Institute, or HAI, they see AI as maybe the single most transformative technology of our entire lifetime. And honestly, when you look at what it can do in medicine, science, even art, it's pretty tough to argue with that. The potential is just massive.
But, with any tool this powerful, there's always a question we've got to ask. As we weave AI deeper and deeper into our lives, what are the trade-offs? What's the catch? What is that hidden cost that isn't always so obvious on the surface? So, first things first, let's give the promise its due. We're not here to tear down AI, we're here to understand the whole picture. And what's so interesting is that even the biggest champions of AI, folks like the experts at Stanford, are really clear about this. They basically say that for AI's benefits to actually be shared by everyone, we can't just let it run wild. It needs careful, thoughtful guidance.
And that brings us right to the heart of this explainer, that hidden cost. Now, this isn't about some sci-fi movie with rogue robots. It's about something way more subtle and way more immediate, our growing over-reliance on these systems.
See, the more we outsource our thinking, our creativity, our decision-making to AI, the more we open ourselves up to a whole new set of problems. And these are the kinds of issues that just creep in slowly until one day, bam, they've become a huge part of our reality. So let's break it down. Let's get specific. There are 3 core issues that come from this over-reliance that are just absolutely critical for us to get our heads around. First up, hallucinations. This sounds weird, I know, but it's a very real problem where an AI with total and complete confidence just makes stuff up. Imagine you ask an AI for a legal precedent, and it confidently gives you a court case that never actually happened. That's a hallucination, and it can be incredibly misleading if we're not paying close attention. Second, and this is a big one, is bias. AI models learn from enormous amounts of data, created by us, by humans. And guess what? That data is full of all our existing patterns and biases. So for example, if an AI tool for screening resumes is trained on decades of data from a male-dominated industry, it might just learn to downgrade applications that mention something like a women's hockey league. The AI isn't evil. It's just reflecting and then amplifying the patterns it was fed. And that leads to really unfair outcomes. And number 3 is skill decay. This is the idea that our own abilities can just get rusty from not being used. I mean, think about it. How many of us kind of struggle to get around now without GPS? It's the same idea, but for professional skills. What happens to a young architect's creative instincts if they only ever use AI to generate blueprints? This weakening of our core skills is a serious, serious long-term risk. So you see the pattern here, right? We're facing these really complex challenges. All the hype around AI can lead to a lot of misinformation. The data it's trained on has these hidden biases baked right in, and we're still trying to figure out the long-term societal impacts. To fight this, we need unbiased data, we need to rigorously check these systems, and we need a much, much deeper understanding of how this all works. So how in the world do we get that deeper understanding? Well, this is where a really important project comes into play. You can think of it like a compass for navigating this brand new AI landscape, the Stanford AI Index. The index's mission is designed to tackle the very problems we just talked about. Its whole purpose is to provide unbiased, carefully checked global data so that everyone, from policymakers all the way down to you and me, can cut through the noise and get a clear, objective picture of what is actually going on in the world of AI. And believe me, this isn't some obscure academic report that just sits on a shelf. The AI Index is a globally recognized authority, and its impact is crystal clear when you see who's relying on it. Its impact is huge. We're talking citations by the world's leading news outlets like the New York Times and The Guardian. But even more important, it's being referenced by policymakers at the highest levels. In the White House and the European Union, when governments need reliable data to make massive decisions about AI, this is one of the key places they turn.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? What's the bottom line? Well, it's really all about finding our way to a more balanced and informed perspective on AI.
Look, the goal here isn't to be anti-AI or to just throw away this incredible technology. The goal is to be smart about it, to really harness its power for good. We have to be just as aware of its limitations, the hallucinations, the biases, the skill decay, as we are of its amazing promise. It's about going into this with our eyes wide open.
In the end, AI is a really powerful mirror. It learns from our data, our history, our behaviors, all of it, the good and the bad. It reflects us. So the ultimate question isn't really about the technology itself, it's about us. As we build and guide it, what parts of humanity are we going to choose to reflect?